VIVA Magazine Live is more than a television show. It is a trusted platform, a bridge between legacy and leadership, between community and impact, with authentic voices, meaningful conversations, and stories that resonate beyond the screen. This is VIVA Magazine Live. Community, culture, we celebrate the leaders, artists, and visionaries who build legacy and inspire change. When you support VIVA Magazine Live, you support more than programming. You support community legacy, voices with impact, a platform that uplifts and endures. This is VIVA Magazine Live, where community lives on television. This is more than a talk show. It's a platform, a conversation, a tribute to our past, and a vision for our future. Welcome to VIVA Magazine Live. I'm your host, Blanca Blanco, and this is the show that celebrates people, places, and institutions shaping our Latino community, past, present, and future. Today's episode is especially meaningful. We are spotlighting a Houston institution that has stood as a pillar for advocacy, empowerment, and unity for generations, the C60 ClubHouse. For nearly a century, LULAC has fought for civil rights, education, and opportunity. Right here in Houston, C60 has been at the heart of its mission. Joining me are two leaders who live and breathe that legacy. Gracie Saenz, who is the C60 Vice Chair. She's an attorney and a community advocate. Ray Valdez, who is the C60 Chair. He is a historian and a community champion. They help preserve the past and lead the present and shape the future of this historic organization. Welcome, Gracie and Ray. Welcome to VIVA Magazine Live.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation, Blanca.
Yes, absolutely. Ray, I want to begin with you. LULAC is the oldest Latino civil rights organization in the United States. And Council 60 holds a very special place in that story. So take us back. How did the council or clubhouse C60 come to be, and why is it so important to us in our community?
Okay, well, LULAC Council 60 was founded in 1934. We've just recently celebrated our 91st anniversary.
Yes.
And it actually just started a couple of blocks from here on off Navigation and 74th.
Yes.
And so it's got a great history of being a community organization. It's just like you said, it's been here for civil rights,
yes,
working for equality, and as advocates,
yes,
for not just the Latino community, but for the entire community.
Right. Civil rights for everybody.
Absolutely.
That's what that's good for.
We're only a few years older than the national organization, who just celebrated their 95th anniversary.
Right.
So we'll be hitting 100 pretty close to each other.
I was there at that 90th celebration. It was a fabulous celebration. So, what strikes me is how much courage it took during that time when Latino voices were often excluded. This clubhouse at the time wasn't just a building. It was a safe place, a strategy room, I suppose, and a symbol of dignity. So, Gracie, what do you think about those early leaders back then, and do you feel their legacy is represented today?
I do believe that the legacy continues. The work continues, unfortunately, right? And so a lot of what was taking place was the courage that many of them had to speak up for those that did not have a voice.
Yes.
We had professionals in our community at
and
that
who
point.
were they, Gracie? Can you tell us who they were? We're gonna show a clip of their pictures, but name who they were.
All right, memory is not what it used to be, so I'm going to read them off.
Well, we
for you.
understand that, Ray.
Okay, we'll have to appreciate a little bit of latitude there.
Yes.
But we have Mr. Gilbert Gomez, Philip Montalvo, Ernest Guia, Gabriel Ramirez, Sammy Aldrete, Arnold Quintero, Alfred J. Hernandez, and if you know your history, you know he was a judge here in Houston.
Yes, he was.
And of course, Felix Tejerina, who was a famous restaurant owner here in Houston.
Yes, he was. Yes.
So those were
Felix's
the original.
Restaurant. Yes.
Yeah, and Felix is the one who actually put the money up for them to be able to purchase the property. And so a lot of people think that LULAC bought it outright, but it was actually these 8 gentlemen that purchased the building and held it in trust for LULAC, Council 60.
Yes.
Right.
So that sense of responsibility is very powerful. I mean, these men took that action to, I guess, strategize on how they were going to make the community better right there in that house. So it holds a lot of history.
Well, it's interesting that you say that they strategized, because a lot of these men were returning from World War II.
Yes.
And they had served in different theaters, across the world, and they came back and they had been trained in strategy and being able to work together as a team. And, they had also gotten education through their training programs.
Yes.
But they came back to a country that wasn't very accepting.
Right.
And that's when they did what they'd been trained to do, which was to organize and to begin the fight for, civil rights and equity across the board.
Right, and that's civil rights not only for Latinos. At that time, it may have been that way, but it's just kind of expanded to all races, brown, black, everybody.
When you think about the fact that they fought to have maybe the first Hispanic police officer, right?
Yes.
It also opened up the opportunity for women and for other minorities to be included in the police department.
Yeah.
When they opened up the opportunity for the fire department, the same thing. The municipal courts, the same thing. Those were opportunities for our first Hispanics, but at the same time, they were opening those opportunities up for other minority rights that were being excluded.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Don't go away. This very interesting topic. Okay, Gracie, can you expand on that, education, civic participation, and leadership? Tell me some of the programs that were developed while they were meeting there at the clubhouse.
Well, one of the programs that has now been recognized and extended nationwide is the SARE Jobs for Progress.
Yes.
SARE Jobs was actually established back in the 60s during a time when, once again, our military men were coming back and were not able to find positions because they had not been trained for certain positions.
Right.
And so they were able to join forces with the GI Forum and another organization, which is
Well, they were approached by the Navy.
The Navy.
The Navy.
And they had a grant from the Navy to proceed to do a training program. And so it started with SARE Jobs.
Yeah.
And
it's a big organization now.
Today it is an incredible organization that stands on its own and has been very, very instrumental in the training and putting people back to work in our community and nationwide now.
Right.
So that's one program. We also had the start of what we now call a Head Start. At that time, again, our children were being met with some unfair practices in education. Many times they were going into kindergarten without the benefit of knowing the language. So the community put together started the Escuelita de 400, which was teaching the children 400 basic English words. There's a lot of history in that particular program and how it happened. And I believe that there is going to be an exhibit soon put together, hopefully by our organization, to tell more of that story and why it was done. But once the children were able to learn the 400 basic words and go into kindergarten, they had more opportunity to succeed in school.
Right, of course.
And again, that's another program that has gone nationwide with the start of Head Start.
And I bet these leaders did not realize the impact that they were going to have through these programs that are now present day being used to train so many people and educate so many more people, and that they were just so far ahead of their time. and then we're looking at our communities.
And I think that's why it's important for us to learn this history, because once again, we're being pegged with similar types of challenges in our community. And people need to know that there are ways that can be effective and can be positive. And we learn from history. One, we should not be repeating, right?
Oh, definitely.
What has happened.
We don't want to go back 50 years.
But at the same time, we should be learning how others did it, and what is the benefit that we can all have because of it.
Right. What other programs, Ray, I know that you've got?
I'd like to just kind of add something to the program. The Little School of 400 is that we're currently doing the research, because we've always heard that LULAC was instrumental in serving as the model for the Head Start program. And what we never had was a concrete connection, from LULAC, to Head Start. But now we've made these connections, and we're running down the history. And so we have to go to DC and to New York and to some of these libraries, specifically the JFK Library, where we see these individuals that were with LULAC who were participating in this nationwide work group that were forming up, the Head Start program. So, not only were they involved in this, but they were involved with so many other things simultaneously. One of the big ones for a lot of people was the creation of MALDAF. So the GI Forum and LULAC Council 60 got together and then put together MALDAF. And, talk about, staying power. They just won a lawsuit in federal court. And you probably know more about the specifics
I was going
of
to
this
say,
lawsuit.
It's important for us to let everybody know what MALDA stands for, which is the Mexican American Legal Defense Fund. So again, it's the attorneys that came together, and were able to fight not only for our civil rights, but for many cases that involve.
There's one in particular that we went and covered was Hernandez versus Texas, that putting more Latinos on juries.
Correct.
Okay, so I don't know all the legalese about it, but you can, as a lawyer, can define what exactly.
At that time, the premise was that you had to have a jury of your peers, right, in order to have a fair trial. And unfortunately, there were only white Caucasians on this particular jury. And they then took issue with the fact that was not a jury of the individual's peers, or Mexican American, who was being charged with, I believe, murder at the time. And so they challenged it. And they challenged it to the point where they recognized that there was racism and discrimination against the Mexican American community that would not allow them to sit on these juries. So that particular case opened up for an opportunity for others.
So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk more about the clubhouse in just a few minutes. So don't go away. This is a very important topic.
Learning looks like this, and it also looks like...
I didn't just study buildings. I connected them with tech to make them smarter.
I'm learning healthcare management while providing patient care.
I worked with these control systems way before I even started the job.
And if I can't make it in person, I take my classes online. So, where do you start?
Welcome back to Viva Magazine Live. We're continuing our conversation about Council C60 ClubHouse, where history meets action. Ray, I want to get to you. Tell me about how did C60 and why was the transformation, why did that transformation occur?
Well, we were faced with the reality that we only had one living trustee left on the LULAC Council 60 ClubHouse. Back then it was known as the LULAC Council 60 ClubHouse. But it was held in this individual's name. All the others had already passed away. And so we needed a vehicle to be able to do the repair to the clubhouse. And so we were able to convince Mr. Eguia to transfer the deed into a nonprofit. And LULAC had a provision in their constitution saying that if you had the LULAC name, they could appropriate that property for their use if they wanted to, which is something that we wanted to avoid, because We were, I think, only the second building left in the country that actually belonged to the membership.
Yes.
And we wanted to keep it that way.
Right.
So we left the name LULAC out of it and went with C, which obviously stands for council, and 60 for Council 60 Clubhouse.
Right.
And so we refer to it that way as we go forward. It's a 501c3. We had like 10 cents when we first started, and, but
I'm sure that okay, so let's talk about the clubhouse itself. It is a modest 2-story stucco building.
It is.
That became what was the LULAC home. And it was originally built, like you said, back in 1907. It was purchased in 1955 for the members, for the use of the membership.
Yes.
And it was really the center of Mexican-American political organizing. And during the 1950s and 60s, it was kind of used, it kind of was a de facto headquarters for the National LULAC, correct?
Right.
So, I mean, and it was like in the midst of the civil rights, our Mexican-American civil rights movement back then. Now that people know this was a 2-story stucco building, and you guys and your group, you have several other members I know, you decided to revitalize it. Tell me, what hoops did y'all have to jump, and I know there's some, to get it back in shape, and what was the shape it was in anyway? Either one of you.
You want to go with Ray?
It's a long story.
Well,
Started off with Ray, actually.
Yeah.
well, the clubhouse itself was boarded up in
Yes.
2013.
It was boarded up.
It was boarded up because it was deemed to be unsafe. The floor was a little unstable. There were some places where the floor and the walls were pulling away from one another.
Right.
Moisture had seeped in through some holes in the roof, so they just weren't meeting there. So in 2015, we set up C60, the nonprofit,
Right.
to take over the restoration project. And at that time, it wasn't too bad.
Right. But you
Okay.
didn't have much money, right?
We had like a dime maybe.
A dime.
And but that was at that time we didn't see that as an issue because we didn't realize really what we were getting into.
Right.
And as we went through the project of doing the restoration, we found out that there was a ton of money that was owed in back taxes.
Oh.
That was owed. That had to be cleared up. And since C60 not bought it, but acquired the property,
Right.
we inherited the burden.
Right.
So we were fortunate.
That was a blow to y'all to know
Oh,
that.
yeah.
How much in taxes was that? Quite a bit?
Gracie knows this one intimately. It was like over 23,000.
Yeah,
Oh
23,000.
my
Yeah.
God. Okay.
So, but the members from Council 60 got together and also rallied and did fundraisers and
Yeah.
raised the money and helped pay the back taxes for
Okay.
the
Right.
clubhouse.
So that got you over that hoop.
Well, that got us to the point to where the National Trust declared us a national treasure.
Okay.
So the National Trust for Historic Preservation in 2018 designated us as a national treasure. There's only one other property in the city of Houston that has that designation, and that's the Houston Astrodome,
Yeah.
which may be torn down pretty
Yes.
soon.
I don't see how they can do that, but that's another story.
Well,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
But, we have moved ahead, and we were doing well. We had just gotten together. Gracie, you had just joined our board at that time. And then we had something that was named Hurricane Harvey.
Hurricane Harvey came.
Oh, my
along.
goodness.
Oh my God.
So she got there just in time for the good times.
Got there just in time for that issue that developed. And
What happened to the clubhouse at the time?
Well,
I mean,
at that time, we had already been fighting with HCAD on the back taxes.
Yeah.
We got all of that resolved. But then we realized after Harvey that that the chimney was pulling away from the building,
Yes.
and that it was considered very dangerous. So there was the need to provide safety around the building itself, but also try to find out how we're going to redo that.
Right.
Luckily, because of the National Trust for Historic Preservation, they came up with an initial grant of $140,000, I believe, to help us
Yeah.
to at least fortify the building so that the damage wouldn't continue.
yeah.
And then from there, we started to raise money a little at a time and you know, find some grants and all. And with the assistance of Harriet Latimer and Associates, who initially helped us, we were able to start making application for other grants to help us preserve the house itself.
Right.
In addition to our own members that continue to support, you know, the movement. It has been rather slow in terms of what needed to get done. But thankfully, this year we finally have seen a breakthrough. We got the permits finally.
Permits for
construction.
construction. Yeah, they
Right.
require.
This is for the interior.
Yeah.
We've already done the outside, replaced the stucco, you know, replaced the chimney that had pulled away.
Yeah. How
So-
many square feet is that?
1,600.
It's, well, kind of small, huh?
It's a very small.
Very
Yeah,
small.
but it's gigantic in terms of output.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah, it's a little engine.
Yes.
It's a little engine.
That can, right? That's
right.
right. You're right on that.
It has great presence.
It does. Well, it does have a lot of history. A lot
does.
of history.
And like Gracie said, you know, we were very fortunate because we got a lot of support from the community.
Yes.
And as you know, you have to kind of build that story.
Right.
And part of, you know, what we encountered along the way is so many people saying that building is so old and it's such bad shape. Why don't you just tear it down and start over?
Well, thank God that you did not, because you preserved so much history. I mean, I was just mentioning to Gracie just a while ago, we should have tours of it for like high school, and have the kids come out and go over all that history that was actually developed right there in inside those walls. I mean, it's so important.
Well, that's what we're looking forward to.
Yeah.
Once we have the clubhouse
in shape.
Yes, restored. That is definitely something that we look forward to being
And
able to do.
How far along are you? I mean, when do you see a completion of this? Do you have
Well, January 5th, the RFP goes out to engage the contractor. And after that, we estimate it should run, about 9 to 12 months, depending on conditions. And you never know what's around the corner, right? So we're just adding a little extra time in there.
We continue our fundraising, though.
Absolutely.
We've been fortunate enough to have the support from our U.S. Congresswoman, Sylvia Garcia, who was very instrumental to help us launch our restoration.
Yes.
And we had the support of the Houston Endowment as well, which was an enormous opportunity for us. Just recently, we had a couple of other grants from other foundations that we are very, very happy about.
Is this where we brag?
Yes, now is the time.
Sorry, we were fortunate to get a grant from the Summerlee Foundation.
Yes.
We got the Midtown TERS to zone us into their geographic area, and we received a $500,000 grant for a 2-year period to develop that plaza, like you were talking about, to bring the people back in from the community to be able to celebrate, outside, and to also display our history.
Yes.
Because we have some really big plans for that.
Yes.
But the icing on the cake for this year was this grant that we just received from the Wortham Foundation.
Yes.
So
how much was that grant?
That one was for $250,000.
That is awesome.
And
that will get a lot of work done.
It does.
We have a lot of work still to do.
Yeah.
And, it's not just about the building itself. It is about cultivating and collecting the history itself.
The history of it.
So we have been working very closely with other organizations and other institutions that have been very instrumental in the collection of our history. And that is the University of Houston, Arte Público, has been very important to us in providing interns to be able to cultivate and bring forth some of the information necessary for the archives and all that we're going to need.
You could possibly turn that into a museum of some sort and have it be a tour of the city like they do.
It will be a living museum where we'll have all the different artifacts that LULAC has, been awarded over the years,
Yes.
and you'll be able to walk through and see the history. And we want that to integrate with the plaza so that it continues when you go into the exterior of it.
Yeah.
We plan a little history wall in there. And then we want to bring in, like you were talking about, bringing the kids in from the schools to be able to do lectures, not only indoors, but outside as well. And we've started doing that with some of our LULAC college councils, where they'll come out and they'll tour the building, and then they'll engage in helping us with different projects around the building.
That is, I mean, that is a monumental project, but a very worthy one for the future, for our children and our leaders to engage the community in.
And we do continue to work closely with the universities to continue to cultivate the information in history that we're going to continue to need, develop the artifacts.
Now, do you have any programs set up, like youth programs, scholarships, having civic engagement meetings there, community events? I mean, you mentioned that you want to have a plaza, but are you going to use it for the meetings in the future until it?
Yes, it will be community accessible.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be very important. And he's taking.
Oh, I have a list.
Okay, well, let's see.
List of
what
all
is
the
your list about?
of all of the exhibits and the programs and so
that's
forth. that
right.
we think-
Well,
yeah, go ahead and read them all.
Well, we have a Latino Male Mentors Program, which Daniel signs. I don't know if you're familiar with
Of course.
it or not.
I do.
But
I
he's
interviewed
put
him.
that together. We're going to bring him hopefully into the clubhouse so he can use that facility to work with these young men.
Yes.
We've talked about partnering with Big Brothers and Sisters of Texas
That's awesome.
to be able to expand that program. We're also doing a youth literacy and library building program, where we're working with some of our board members to be able to collect books, money, to take them to some of these schools that don't have well-equipped, libraries.
of course.
TA has kind of cut back on a lot of services in these schools.
Of course.
And what we don't have is a lot of bilingual materials. So in partnership with Arte Público Press, they have a lot of books that are bilingual. It won't be easy. We'll have to work with the district and to be able to have these books allowed in there. But once we do that, we're building the base to be able to stock these libraries.
Well, that is a lot of good work.
Oh, we got 7
so
more.
Important. Oh yes, we'll read the rest of them. Come on.
No, go ahead.
Now we have time.
I think the most important one has been the partnership with Arte Público Press that has allowed them to be able to go into elementary schools.
Yes.
And have taken the 4th and 5th graders, I believe, and showed them also on how to do historic archiving.
Yes.
And how they themselves can also be part of developing this type of history.
Yes.
And so that's been very, very positive.
Well, that's so important.
Yes.
You want to say one more thing?
One more thing.
Yeah.
And you heard it here first
Okay.
on your show.
Okay.
And that's that when the house is finished on the interior, we're going to want to put a mural up on the clubhouse.
Okay.
And for that, we want to run a contest for a young artist. And hopefully the winning artist will get a scholarship. And if it's possible, we'll hopefully commission the work to them.
Oh, that is awesome. I mean, that would be so key to young artists, because, I mean, this would be a stepping stone for them.
We have such incredible artists in this town.
Oh, we do. I know. The VIVA Magazine Live audience to know, because of leaders like Gracie Sines and Ray Valdez, that this legacy continues. It is not just a memory, but it continues as a mission for both of you. So if you want to learn more and get involved or support the preservation and the future of Council 60 ClubHouse, I encourage you to reach out and become part of this powerful history. Gracie and Ray, thank you for your leadership, your passion, and for sharing this history with us today. It's so important, it's so relevant. Thank you so much.
I want to thank you, Blanca, but also I want to thank all those individuals and organizations that have been helping us along the way.
Yes.
And this is a teamwork.
Yeah, it's a team effort.
Absolutely.
And thank you both for joining us on VIVA Magazine Live, where culture, community, and leadership come together. I'm Blanca Blanco. Until next time, celebrate who we are, honor where we come from and invest in where we're going. Hasta luego, Houston.